Good evening, everybody. A
Hi,
very,
Bhaiya.
very warm welcome to all of you to our third webinar. I'm muting you all so that we can hear to the speaker. Pallavi, a very warm welcome, and also a very warm welcome to our last two speakers at the webinar, Major General Vikram Dev Dogra and Rahul Narvekar himself. So it's great to have all of you here. And I'm sure we are going to have another very interesting evening and very interesting conversation today with our guest Pallavi Rao Narvekar. So we all are living in a world of. Also, okay, before I move into the talk and the topic, a few basic hygiene that I have put all of you on mute, and please do not unmute yourself. In case you have a question, please write on the chat box. Post the talk, we'll have enough time for the questions and answers. I'm sure we will be able to answer almost every question that you have. So moving on, we all are living in a world of lockdown right now. That's how it seems. Everyone is worried. Everyone is looking at lockdown from the lenses that they are wearing. Someone is worried about food. Somebody is worried about job, his or her earnings. Somebody is worried about the well-being of their parents, neighbors, socializing. And there are some who are worried about liquor, that liquor shop kya nahi khul raha hai. So there are all kind of worries this lockdown is bringing to all of people. Now, these are not the times that we have experienced in a lifetime, and we hope that none of us experience this again in this lifetime. This is something completely new for all of us. However, during the last, couple of weeks, many thoughts were reflecting in my head. Abhi khali dimag hai, to obviously, I started to think a lot, started to reflect what's happening and stuff like that. And, what I realized is that, is this the first lockdown that I'm facing? Probably yes, enforced by somebody else. But when I look back, I realized that, in my last 52 years of life, I had many lockdowns at various stages of life. I had lockdown in terms of my relationship, lockdown at work, with friends, professionally, lockdown on my opinions, lockdown on my health. So there has been, so many lockdowns that I have faced in my life over last 52 years from the time I have been on this planet Earth. So we thought that why not try and understand that what are these lockdowns of life, that we all face in our day-to-day life. And we thought who better than the guests that we have today. So please welcome, so I'll talk about Pallavi a little bit. So please welcome Pallavi Rao Narvekar. It's really a privilege and honor that she has joined us today. And I'm sure each one of us, by end of this session, are going to go home more inspired, more enriched, and, more, a greater vision of life beyond lockdown. So Pallavi, I had the fortune of knowing you for a while, probably 3 years plus. And we had many such interactions during the show, as well as, when I stayed with you in Delhi. And I remember you sharing that you had a very hunky-dory life. The Delhiites actually used to wait for the evening to come so that they can tune in Radio Mirchi and listen to their favorite Pallo. Life was hunky-dory, socializing, recognition, people want to be seen with you, and take pictures. Your voice was your gold mine. People used to love to hear your voice. Suddenly one fine day, your voice went on lockdown, or that's what you realized. What happened, and how did you manage that lockdown? Was it worse than a lockdown? Our attendees would like to dive deep with you in your lockdown and try and understand that what were these different lockdowns and how did you manage to come out of these lockdowns. Over to you, Pallavi. I'll just unmute you, Pallavi. Yeah.
शुरू करूं इस सवाल. ओके, सबसे पहले तो स्टैट्यूटरी वार्निंग दो बातें. एक तो ये कि कभी कभी you might hear a slur, so you'll have to like concentrate looking towards my mouth to see how my lips are moving and what am I saying. That is one. लेकिन आप सोचोगे कि मैं बहुत इमोशनल हो गई हूँ, बहुत सेंसिटिव हो गई हूँ, रोने वाली हूँ, पर शायद मैं रो ना रही हूँ, मेरे आंखों में से आंसू आते रहते हैं because of the medicine, so I keep wiping my eyes. Bad manners, but that's about it. लॉकडाउन, क्या बोलूँ मैं, मेरी दुकान बंद हो गई थी लिटरली क्योंकि मेरी दुकान थी मेरी आवाज, मेरी जिंदगी थी मेरी आवाज, मेरा पैशन या अब मुझे लगता है शायद ऑब्सेशन थी मेरी आवाज। मुझे लगता था कि that is the only thing that drives me, that is the only thing that I can do in my life, and that is to reach out to people, talk to them, connect with just the voice. I've done radio, I've done television, I've done live shows, I have emceed events, but the only thing that really pulled me was the voice, radio, voiceovers, radio shows. So there was this day when I was, I think, my baby was, Rian was about a month and a few days old. तो मैं उसको लोरी सुना रही थी कमरे में घुमाते हुए गाने गाते एंड सडनली मुझे लगा कि वो लोरी जो है ना वो पूरा मेरी आवाज टुकलाने लगी, तो मैं जरा घबरा गई एंड आई एक्चुअली वेंट कोल्ड फ्रॉम हेड टू टो। मैंने फटाफट रियान को, अपनी माँ को और अपनी सासू माँ को पकड़ाया, वॉशरूम में गई, शीशे के सामने खड़ी हुई एंड I started talking. And one line into whatever I said, and which was Radio Mirchi 98.3 FM पर आप सुन रहे हैं बम मैं हूँ हर शाम की तरह आपके साथ पल्लवी। एक्जेक्टली मैं सेकंड लाइन तक आते आते जबरदस्त उठलाने लगी and I was very scared. I didn't tell anyone anything that evening. Next morning when I woke up, मुझे पता था कि कुछ गड़बड़ है, क्या गड़बड़ है समझ नहीं आ रहा था। So when I went to brush my teeth, I realized कि मैं झाग बाहर निकाल नहीं पा रही थी, मैं थूक नहीं पा रही थी। The froth just remained in my mouth. I had to literally put my hand in and take it out. I could not eat it. I came and sat outside on the bed, and when Rahul came, he said, "Oh, something like whatever he said," and I just looked at him and I said, "Rahul, I need to must जाएंगे." So क्या हुआ? ऐसा मुझे मालूम कुछ अजीब सा weakness है. जब कुछ चल. And then he heard me speak with that heavy slur. He said, "Chal." So my brother Rahul and I immediately rushed to the gynae. Gynae said, "क्या हुआ है? कुछ नहीं हुआ. ये weakness है. Postpartum weakness. कुछ नहीं है. बकवास है तो घर जा." मैंने बोला नहीं मैं सच्ची में तुम ला रही हूँ। So she said क्या बकवास है? अच्छी तो बात नहीं है। मैंने बोला चाहती हूँ newspaper दो मुझे। So she got me a newspaper and I started reading. The first para was fine. Second para on was I slurred. And she stood up and she said, "ये क्या है? बेटा मम्मी यहाँ से सीधा अपोलो जाऊंगी, घर नहीं जाऊंगी, डॉक्टर सुनी, meet him right now." And she turned around and told other doctors कि ये तो कुछ ब्रेन का चक्कर है। ब्रेन का चक्कर? हेलो, मेरा बच्चा घर पे है, मुझे घर जाना है, ये क्या है? And we reached Apollo, and Dr. Vinny Sudhi, the neurologist, asked the symptoms. I told him, I said, सांस नहीं लिया जा रहा ढंग से, मजा नहीं आ रहा सांस लेने में, अजीब सी थकावट है और ये स्लर है, चबाने में मुश्किल हो रहा है, आज सुबह ब्रेकफास्ट खाने में दिक्कत। And he sent me to the next room, did an RNS test, जिसमें वो सारे तार वार लगा के इलेक्ट्रिक शॉक्स देके nerve impulses को check करते हैं, and I think within half an hour, 45 minutes, the verdict was out that I have been chosen to be one of the very few people in this world who have this rare autoimmune disorder called myasthenia gravis. अब भैया मैं राहुल मैंने कहा myasthenia gravis कहाँ सुना है, और एक ही जन का नाम दिमाग में आया उस टाइम पे, वो था अमिताभ बच्चन। उसके आगे क्या है myasthenia gravis कुछ नहीं पता था। Then of course the doctor said it's a rare autoimmune disorder, the involuntary muscles of the body. तो involuntary muscles में breathing, lungs is a huge thing. So इसमें आपकी अलग अलग चीजें हो जाती हैं. So your smile is going up like that. Um, आंखें आपकी खुली होने की जगह बंद होती है. So my left eye used to shut by evening. एक आंख खुली होती थी और एक आंख बंद जाती थी. जैसे आंख शटर नीचे कर देते ना वैसे. So yeah. So एक दिन लॉकडाउन हो गया. तो आवाज जो थी वो स्लर हो गई. इतना भयंकर स्लर की the tongue became so heavy. I was unable to talk. I was unable to chew. I was unable to swallow. मतलब अगर कोई उस टाइम पे मुझे देखता तो हैरान हो जाता क्योंकि कोई भी देखता तो घबरा जाता. तो लिटरली पानी अगर पीती थी तो ऐसे जैसे पानी पिया और सर पर देके कॉन्सेंट्रेट कि वो विंड पाइप में ना जाए. खाना में चू नहीं कर सकती तो सब कुछ मिक्सी में करके एक bite which would take 5 minutes each. So of course medicines started. Medicines kept increasing, dosage, steroids. जो दवाई दिन में एक बार लेनी होती थी, I was taking one tablet every 1.5 hours. तभी the symptoms were not controlled. And that is when the doctor said we'll have to go in for the thymectomy, which is taking out the thymus gland जो हमारी strong बनाता है बाकी में. But my snakes में it's kind of starts to misbehave whenever there's a hormonal change or imbalance. Or the generally women में ये होता है during pregnancy or menopause, any of the hormonal change. So मेरे इसमें pregnancy के बाद ज़्यादा थी. So there I was unable to feed my child. माँ का तो उतना पिला पाई मैं, kind of a thing. But more important than that, I wanted my voice back. So we submitted to what the doctor said, thymectomy. So thymus gland निकाला गया. हमने हाथ कह दिया सर्जरी के लिए, लेकिन ये नहीं पता था कि thymeectomy होता क्या है. It turned out उन्होंने बताया, but it's just that only after this it was done that I realized कि boss, this is a big surgery. It was an open heart with a sternum cut and the thymus gland removed. So उसके बाद while I was in the ICU, my slur vanished. All my symptoms disappeared. I was like, yes. And the doctor said, January, you should be back on air. So this was from August to December with surgery. And they said, January, you'll be back on air. And I was thrilled. उसके बाद उन्होंने कहा अच्छा हमने thymus निकाल लिया है, हम इसकी biopsy करेंगे. And guess what? So myasthenia gravis is a rare autoimmune disorder. Myasthenia gravis में thymus gland हटाने के बाद thymoma होना is another rarity. So I was again the chosen one. So they realized that there's a thymoma, which is a type of cancer. तो क्या होता है उसके बाद? Radiation और chemo. बस तो उन्होंने बोला जाओ घर जाओ, रेस्ट करो, रिकूपरेट करो, वापस आओ फिर रेडिएशन एंड कीमो. मैंने बोला वो भी मैं कर लूंगी, बस मुझे बता दो कि मैं बच्चे को रोई कब से ला सकती हूँ और मैं रेडिएशन पे बम्पर में वापस दिल्ली के पास कर जा सकती हूँ. तो ऐसा रहा मेरा पहला लॉकडाउन. After the radiation and chemo, बाल झड़ गए, बस बैंड बज गई लाइफ की हर तरह से बैंड बजी क्योंकि माँ बनी लेकिन माँ का फर्ज सबसे अदा नहीं कर पाई because I couldn't hold my baby in my arms because of the surgery. I was not able to go back on air because आवाज की कच्चियाँ हो गई थी. सर्जरी होने के बाद मेरा स्लर खत्म हो गया, लेकिन डिस्पाइट एवरीथिंग मेरी आवाज में ताकत नहीं थी. सो आई हैड द रिंग बेल नेक्स्ट टू मी. अगर किसी को बुलाना होता था दूसरे कमरे से तो घंटी बजती थी, जनाता था वो अपना चैनल यहाँ रखा था, मैं यहाँ बोलती थी, वो सुनते थे. सो मुझे मैंने डॉक्टर को बोला कि भैया जब सर्जरी भी कर दी, रेडिएशन कीमो भी चल रहा है, तो मेरी आवाज वापस क्यों नहीं आ रही है? जनवरी निकल गया, अप्रैल में पहुंच रहे हैं. So he said, अच्छा ठीक है, please go to the ENT and check it out. ENT के पास गई, अपोलो में ही. अब वो डॉक्टर जो था बहुत ही, मेरे उस जन का डॉक्टर का नाम नहीं याद, शक्ल याद है, एंड बहुत गुस्सा था मुझे, मैं उससे इतने सालों गुस्सा रही, और इसीलिए उसके लिए आई एम थैंकफुल टू हिम आल्सो, because when I went there my mother had taken me there and he did those checks and whatever, and he said, अरे आपको तो लेफ्ट वोकल कॉर्ड पैरालाइज्ड है। लेफ्ट वोकल कॉर्ड पैरालाइज्ड ये कैसे हो सकता है? सर्जरी तो होगी। तो बोला हाँ हो सकता है, सर्जरी के दौरान जब टेकिंग आउट द कैंसरस सेल्स हो सकता है the left vocal cord got touched and you have one vocal cord which is working, जिसमें अभी ताकत नहीं है। That was the time when I actually thought कि मैं पैरालाइज हो गई हूँ सर से ऊपर तक नीचे तक, कि ये क्या बकवास है। And I remember I asked him कि okay now what, इसको क्या, how do you rectify this? And he said this can't be rectified, this is an irreversible process. I said नहीं, you're not understanding. I'm a radio jockey, I'm a radio person. मेरी जिंदगी, मेरी life, आवाज, radio. And the doctor was a least impressed. I was like, चलो आगे बढ़ो. So he literally said, he said, you will forget about being on radio again. आप मिर्ची में ही radio station पे कोई और program, कोई और काम ढूंढो. And I was sitting there and actually arguing with him. I said, are you not understanding the import of your words? What are you saying? आप समझ रहे हैं? And he was not entertaining me at all because he had an explanation outside. And while my mother was taking the wheelchair out, देखिए हिंदी फिल्मी कहानी है मेरी और हिंदी फिल्मी हीरोइन मैं हूँ, तो मैंने भी ड्रामेटिकली मेरी माँ को बोला I am going to prove this doctor wrong. How dare he say I can't go back on air? How dare he say? On two reasons. One, because I'm a radio job. How can he say that? Two, he's a doctor. Isn't he supposed to give me hope? Isn't he supposed to tell me ways in which a thing can be rectified? How can he say that I can never go back on air? Why can't he tell me that the second vocal cord is bloody working? मैंने भी बोला I'll go back on एक हट एक जिद करके मैं घर वापस आई. I called up Pavan, my yoga guru, instructor, dost, bhai, mentor, and he said, "ये कैसे कह दिया उन्होंने? हम कैसे start करेंगे?" So we started with my own chanting of less than a second because there was some strength at all. Over the next 2-3 months, he would come at 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Before going to his school where he used to teach, we would go to the park in front of my house and we would practice. He only said one thing. He said, आप भूल जाओ कि आपका एक vocal cord paralyzed है. आप बस ये याद रखो कि आपका एक vocal cord चल रहा है. अब उनको उसको ताकत देंगे, उसको शक्ति देंगे. और हमने उसको इतनी शक्ति दी that I think within 2.5 months, my own chanting increased to 4 seconds, which was phenomenal from where I had come. Yes, that was a blog. मैंने तो काफी आधी कहानी बता दी. लोकेश, तुम्हारा अगला सवाल पूछो.
Yeah, so I don't know what stuff you are made of, but what you just said, I mean, every time I hear your story, it's joking, and I wonder, every time you're asked to narrate the story, I'm sure you have to relive that whole thing. अभी शायद आपको आदत सी पड़ गई हो, लेकिन this was just phase 1 of your lockdown, and like we always now we have been wondering. कि अभी ये लॉकडाउन है, will this lockdown happen again in our life? Hopefully not. Yesterday night jokingly I was telling a friend of mine that maybe in the next lockdown, but I'm sure none of us want another lockdown. But in your case, you recovered, you came back on air, cities, the Delhi city was decorated with Pallo is back, and everything was back. So was life okay after that, or once again something happened that you went down again?
Yeah, so I was तो ये जो धक्का लगा मुझे जिंदगी का, as I said, emotional level पे, physical level पे, financial level पे, because राहुल और मैं अभी शादी किया, घर ले लिया, EMI मस्त बिंदास जिंदगी जी रहे थे, बच्चा हो गया और उसके बाद this medical issue came and we were those silly couples जिन्होंने हर चीज में इन्वेस्ट किया लेकिन मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस नहीं किया. तुम्हारी बैंड बच गई थी हर तरह से. And you must have heard Rahul's story also, how when we got married, the day we got married, he lost his job because of that recession that day, and our entire journey there. And of course, our pastry time when I was in Mirchi on the show and stuff. Now, after my radiation, chemo, and everything, and Pawan coming into my life and me doing yoga, I remember this day when Rahul, तब उसको फिर चढ़ा था marathon दौड़ने का. So he used to go for this remote training in Nehru Park. And he would take me village and driver early in the morning, like सुबह 4 बजे. And I would tell him, बेचारा वो सुबह 4 बजे से रात के 10 बजे तक गाड़ी चलाता है, वेट करता है. Why do bother him? By then I was under remission. So I was without medicines, no medicines, nothing. I was absolutely fine. So I said, मैं तेरे साथ चलती हूँ, गाड़ी मैं चलाऊंगी नेहरू पार्क में, तू अपना दौड़ता भागता रही और मैं अपना खुले आसमान के नीचे प्राणायाम और योगा कपालभाति करती हूँ. So he said, fine. And that was the day I got introduced to Shiva from Bangkok, who was doing the training. And she said, Ari, why don't you also join us? It was a big deal. I'm fine, I'm happy with my yoga. So she said, should you just come till me till there, walk till me till there? I said, I only walk in a mall, in a controlled environment. I can't walk in this group, because my skin के बहुत सारे issues होते हैं. गर्मी ज़्यादा हुई तो आंखें ड्रॉप करनी शुरू हो जाती हैं. अगर ज़्यादा ठंड हुई तो दिक्कत हो जाती है. ह्यूमिडिटी हुई तो बैंड बज गई आपकी उस दिन की. मैं बोला नहीं, I'm fine. बातें करते करते she made me walk 3.75 kilometers that day.
My God.
And I managed to. And I was shocked. I was like, I have walked 3.75. उसके बाद राहुल तो पता नहीं 4 बार आया होगा गिर के उस ट्रेनिंग के लिए, but I was addicted. And thanks to Rahul, I did 7 kilometers that year, Airtel Half Delhi Marathon. And the next year, I trained with her the entire year. I did boot camp with her. I did Pilates. I did the gym wall, everything in the Nehru Park. And again, only thanks to Rahul and Shiva, I ran, walked, jogged, dragged, crawled, and finished the 21 kilometers marathon the next year. That is when Rahul kept saying, and Rahul, of course, was walking, running with me. And I kept saying, "Tu jana, tu apna timing kyun kharab kar raha hai mere chakkar mein? Chal. So many places I thought bas ab nahi ho sakta. And he kept saying, it's all in the mind, it's all in the mind, it's all in the mind. Udhar ke baad, and I finished my I was at that time my healthiest self, the tortoise self. I started wearing spaghettis and all the clothes I never used to wear earlier because I was never healthy that way. And I was feeling fine, and I said, I've arrived in life. Skin was glowing because of all the exercise and everything. And one night, Rian was barely, I think, 4, 5 years old. तो मैं उसको रात को कहानी सुना दी थी, मुझे हमेशा पसंद थी. तो रात का समय, लाइट जली हुई है, अच्छा सा माहौल बना हुआ है, कहानी सुना रही थी. और सभी उस कहानी सुनाते सुनाते में मुझे फिर से एक स्लर सुनाई दिया और फिर मैं पड़ी ठंडी. ये क्या हुआ? फिर से स्लर. And then again, NCT scan, all the natak and fine tumors behind the left lung this time. ठीक है, मैंने कभी भी कोई काम किया है ना, छोटा मोटा किया ही नहीं. मतलब जब किया तो डंके की चोट पे एक्सट्रीम पे चुके. तो this time 5 tumors behind the left lung. अब क्या करना है? Same procedure, another surgery, another set of radiation, another set of one. This was the time when I asked him, भैया ये वाला lockdown क्यों हुआ? Is my do I have to call precautions? Social distancing नहीं बना उस समय में मेरा जो भी था. So I was taking a पौष्टिक आहार, I was exercising, positive thoughts, happiness, being happy, everything. I think I was doing perfectly well. Then why did it happen again? But क्या करें? What the was, so this is after running 2 marathons and all and going back on air. I mean, I went back on air, as Mukesh said, huge hoardings, वापस आई मैं on air. Mr. Dr. Paul, I proved him wrong, and thank you for saying that I would not be able to do it. But of course, I could not sustain the show beyond 2-3 months because Avaz couldn't take that load of a 4-hour prime time high energy and high tension wala show. So the second time the lockdown happened was when I was really taken aback. I said, "ये क्या बदतमीजी है? ये ना हो पाएगा." That is when I started questioning things, and I went into all the alternate therapies. तो मैंने आप पूछो मैंने क्या नहीं किया? Past life regression, pranic healing, theta healing, फला ढमकाना, सब कुछ. You name it and I've done it. So, क्या सवाल था तुम्हारा मैं भूल गई.
So basically, the second time when it hit you again, and you went back to the hospital, and probably that was a longer period that you spent there than what was in the first time. And you, despite all that, you did something. You accepted it. After a point, obviously, you were regretting.
No,
why again?
Actually, Lokesh, I did not accept it even then.
Right.
I think मेरे अंदर ना वो एक गुस्सा तो नहीं, एक हट एक stubbornness था कि I will not let this stop my life, because मेरा focus बिल्कुल क्लियर था कि मुझे मेरे बच्चे के साथ रहना है. मतलब एक बहुत ही क्या कहते हैं उसको, एक लालच था कि मुझे अभी नहीं जाना भैया, अभी नहीं जा पाऊंगी मैं. तो उस टाइम पे मेरे को एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं हुआ था. एंड देन अगेन once I finished that and I stepped out, then again I was in remission without any medicines, but yes, my immunity had taken a toll. Like how? Because chemotherapy तो तेजाब है, तो अंदर जाता है वो सब साफ कर देता है. वो नहीं देखता क्या सही है क्या गलत है. चलो जी सफाई करो, झाड़ू करो, पोछा करो, साफ कर दो, सब साफ करो. इम्यूनिटी बैंड बच गई थी. तो जैसा होता था कि लोगों को जुकाम खांसी होती थी, मुझे निमोनिया. लोग डॉक्टर के पास जाते थे, मैं सीधा आईसीयू जाती थी. मैंने कभी कुछ छोटा किया ही नहीं, कभी भी. So that was the second lockdown. उसके बाद when I came back again under remission with a very very bad immunity, very low immunity, I couldn't think of stepping out. I couldn't even have a bath नंगे पाँव, because अगर मैंने चप्पलें उतारी तो मुझे सीधा जुकाम मतलब 1 महीना जुकाम खांसी. So it was that bad. That was also, I think, went off whatever. Then 2011, the lockdown happened again.
So that was your third lockdown.
Third. अब थर्ड वाले में डॉक्टर परेशान कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ. मतलब डॉक्टर ने पूरी कह दी क्या कर रही है, तो क्यों वापस आ रही है. मुझे नहीं मालूम, आप सफाई करो एक बारी में अंदर. So the thoracic surgeon, Dr. Baba Das, happens to be a fan of mine from,
Hello days.
Yeah, so he used to say कि हाँ देखो जल्दी वापस और जाना, क्योंकि हॉस्पिटल से घर जाते वक्त मैं तेरे को ही सुनता हूँ. तो मैंने बोला तो सुनना है तो ठीक कर दो. So of course by then I had gotten into becoming a producer with Radio Mirchi and started with CSR division. I never thought कि आवाज की दुनिया के आगे मेरे पास कुछ capability है. But I realized कि I was doing the job of a producer quite well, and that I love CSR. And so वो ऐसे options जो है वो खुलते गए once I was open to acceptance. तरीके नहीं था. Much later it came, and I in fact remember the day it happened. The day I surrendered. That was much later.
So last time when we had Rahul a week back, he spoke about that. आपने तो मतलब ICU का ही फायदा उठा लिया और ICU love stories लिख डाली. मतलब what happened? मतलब लोग सोचते हैं जल्दी मैं यहाँ से बाहर जाऊँ, आपने बैठे बैठे किताब लिख दी. मतलब
yeah, that was such a learning experience, life experience. वो actually में वही था कि हम कैसे अपने हर डिफिकल्टी में of course होना आता है, बुरा लगता है, डर लगता है, सब कुछ है, but you don't realize, we don't live in that awareness actually कि कुछ अच्छी चीजें भी हो रही है साथ साथ. अगर हम इसको थोड़ा सा तवज्जो दें, थोड़ा सा इम्पोर्टेंस दें, तो I guess that phase ना goes you can pass that phase a little more smoother. So now 2011 May, the third time that it happened, the doctors were surprised. Luckily, this time पे मुझे radiation और chemo नहीं करना पड़ा because the doctors were not sure कि surgery करे नहीं करे. They were called hot spots. This time on the right lung. So left lung हो गया, chest हो गया और अब right lung. So they have to cut the right side and then take out of the tumors and whatever. Then I came back home and I started with nutrition, with look, put in home, and that is how my journey with health, well-being, nutrition started. And I was, but by then मेरा body का जो क्या कहते हैं उसको immunity था, वो I think zero पे आ गया था literally. मेरा अंदर कोई vitamin, कोई mineral, कुछ ना बचा था, कुछ नहीं. And then what happened was the scary part. 2015 and 16, I think, were more scary than cancer and radiation and chemo. What happened then was, I just one day started feeling so weak. अब क्योंकि यहाँ पे कैमरा है, आप देख सकते हैं, और मैं लिख नहीं रही है, बोल नहीं रही, I'll show you exactly how my head was behaving. I lost all strength in my neck. तो मेरा neck जो था वो ऐसे I couldn't lift my head. कुछ भी करने के लिए मुझे दोनों हाथ पकड़ के हाथ को neck को पकड़ना पड़ा. अगर मुझे राइट टर्न करना पड़ता था तो मेरे को ऐसे पकड़ के, क्योंकि थक जाता था. कि मैं पता वो गुड़िया जो होती है नहीं, साउथ इंडियन वाली गुड़िया होती है, उधर तो मैं लिटरली वैसे होगी, देख सकती मेरा गाल और सर जो है वैसे ढलक रहा. I was not able to breathe and again I was not able to chew, swallow water, कुछ भी नहीं. मेरी fingers became very very weak. मतलब मैं कप ग्लास उठा ही नहीं सकती थी. There was no way. ऐसे उठा सकती थी, fingers में काट देती थी, thumb में काट देती थी. So one day I was sitting on the sofa, lying on the sofa in the drawing room, और राहुल literally मेरे हाथ जितना पास था, लेकिन I couldn't touch him. And my head was going left, right, center, and I couldn't say a word. And I kept calling out to Rahul, I couldn't. But वो इतनी पास बैठा हुआ था, and he was watching the TV. और मुझे लगा था वहाँ अगले 1 सेकंड या 2 सेकंड में से टर्न नहीं किया तो मुझे कुछ हो जाएगा. And luckily he just turned around and I said, emergency. And we rushed to ICU to Apollo. I generally used to carry one note saying कि इस हफ्ते तक मेरा क्या symptoms था, how am I feeling, what medicines am I having, क्या dosage है, so that कभी ऐसी emergency है जहाँ मैं बोल ना सकूँ तो डॉक्टर को दिखाने के लिए कुछ हो. But that was not updated over the last 15 days because I was not there. Dr. Suri came, he checked. Uske baad I have no recollection. I just remember I was in the ICU. So it was something called myasthenia crisis. Now myasthenia crisis happens again very rarely. It's not a good thing. And I had to go through IVIG, जिसके बारे में मैंने सिर्फ पढ़ा था और हमेशा वो किया था, विश किया था कि वो ना हो कभी करूँगा. So 5 days of a particular trip, whatever. So it's a process. So या तो वो होता है या another term that all of you would now know, plasma therapy. That is the other option. Agar situation was very kharab. So I was given the IVIG and I remember I was in the stroke ICU. अब stroke ICU में मैं थी वहाँ पे जो कि होशो हवास में थी, दिमाग चल रहा था, उंगलियां नहीं चल रही थी. My left leg was dragging. I couldn't walk straight. तो मैं लेफ्ट लेग घसीट के चल रहा. एंड मेरे आसपास जितने सारे लोग थे, 10-11-12, सब सफेद चद्दरों में लिपटे हुए. एंड ऑफ कोर्स मोस्ट ऑफ देम, आई थिंक barring me, the rest all of them were in a coma. One was unconscious या delirious state में. तो मैं काफी बोर हो रही थी और डर भी रही थी because constantly listening to doctors discussing me, discussing others. तो मैंने स्पेशल परमिशन लेके उनको कहा कि प्लीज कैन आई हैव माय फोन और मैं म्यूजिक सुनूंगी. तो हाँ, आईपैड ले लो, फोन ले लो, enjoy your oxygen spa. So while I was having my oxygen spa in the ICU, stroke ICU, so एक रात को there was this new patient who came and he was screaming and shouting, कमला कमला को बुला दो, पहले कमला को बुला दो. अब मैं बोर हो रही थी तो मैं उसको देख रही थी. Then I saw the entire drama unfolding and it was such a delightful story, love story. तो मैं वहाँ बैठ के मैंने राहुल जो नीचे चाकरी करता था आईसीयू के नीचे, तो मैंने उसको व्हाट्सएप मैसेज भेजना शुरू किया. पर उसको छोड़ के मैंने उसको थोड़ा लंबा बनाया, हैंड रात भर लिखा, सुबह मैंने उसको फॉरवर्ड किया एंड इट बिकेम अ शॉर्ट स्टोरी with all spelling mistakes, grammatical errors whatever. मैंने उसको भेजा, उसने जवाब दिया और लिख. मैं ऑक्सीजन स्माइल लेके बैठ गया यहाँ पे. मैं यहाँ पिकनिक मनाने नहीं आई हूँ. लिख क्या होता है. And Lokesh, that was when I saw कि हर बेड पे कहानी थी, हर बेड पे उनके लोग आ रहे थे डॉक्टर्स के साथ, and every bed on the ICU had a story and it was not just a story, it was actually a love story. उसके बाद मुझे अपनी लाइफ का ICU का मिशन पता लग गया. So I would ask the nurse, कि अच्छा उस बेड की क्या कहानी है, वो कौन है. वो ना दीदी वो and all Malu accent. ना वो अम्मा है, तो बस वरना मदर, की क्या कहानी है. Then थोड़ा उनसे ईवस्टॉप करना, नरेंद्र की कहानी. And then every day or every other day, because मैं काफी लंबा वेकेशन था वहाँ पे, तो मैंने वहाँ बैठ के कुछ 6 स्टोरीज लिखी. And every time I would send it to Rahul, he would say, very nice, all like, and he would post it on Facebook. You know how Rahul is. पहले फेसबुक पे डाला, व्हाट्सएप पे डाला, लोगों ने लिखना शुरू किया, और लिखो. मैं भी पंप हो गई. एंड देख के मैं परेशान कि मैं यहाँ पे परेशान हो रही हूँ कि मैं चल नहीं पा रही, बोल नहीं पा रही, सांस नहीं ले पा रही. वहाँ पे बंदा कुछ ही नहीं पा रहा है. उसका परिवार आगे मत करो कि रोई जाना परेशान हो रहा है, और मैं यहाँ पे बैठी हुई, मेरा तो परिवार आ रहा है, मैं देख रही हूँ, मैं कहानी लिख रही हूँ. So that is such a learning.
Pallavi sounds so very filmy. I've seen in films that सिमरन जा रही है और वेट करिए राहुल पलट के एक बार देख ले. And you had a scene where you are about to fall and you're like Rahul एक मिनट देख ले नहीं तो पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा, right? Then you had where we saw in a movie where cake was cut in ICU in Three Idiots, right? You had a situation like that. We see only heroes and heroines in the film. They actually go through any number of life-threatening disease, but they come out very, very strong. But there's a script that following. Here you are a real person. So when you look back, living in real life and real life is very, very different. Now when you look back, do you think कि यार चलो ठीक है अब हो गया, you feel satisfied? I mean, what are your emotions now after going through so many things?
Difficult to say actually, because if I be very, very frank, most people say you're a source of inspiration. So two, three takeaways that I had. One, my story and Rahul's story and our story together is way too natkya. It is way too filmy even for us to fathom. There has to be a reason why all this has happened. It can't be just time pass. From his stall to where he is right now, or from me, a radio jockey losing her voice. I mean, क्या बकवास है? मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा film है. So some of the takeaways was that if all this drama is happening, it has to be for a reason. Maybe I am supposed to talk about my life with others so that they know कि ऐसा होता है, ऐसा हो सकता है, and talk about myasthenia gravis to people who do not know about it, about autoimmune disorders, create some kind of awareness. Be thankful and grateful for things that are there around you. Learn, all these terms that I read in books were actually things that I learned the hard way. Rahul keeps saying that, हो गया ना, ये मोमेंट चला गया ना, ये सेकंड गया ना, लिव इन द पावर ऑफ नाउ, जो किताब में इतनी बड़ी किताब है, वो राहुल इज व्हाट ही सेड लाइक दैट. I could never do that. After so many years, I have learned to accept, and I'm still learning to go with the flow. It is tough. It feels nice that people say I'm a source of inspiration, लेकिन डर मुझे अभी भी लगता है. कभी कभी रात को बहुत घबराहट होती है क्योंकि अंधेरे में ही ज्यादा नेगेटिव थॉट्स आते हैं कि क्या आई होप दिस इज ओवर. इन अ वे आई नो इट इज ओवर, लेकिन इंसान को डर लगता है.
No, I can absolutely understand. I mean, I can never understand that because you lived it. I can only speak about it. So tell me, I mean, I'm getting a little more filmy because you love films and, you yourself call it yourself very, very filmy. So this is not filmy. This is actually real. So when you were going through all these things, you had a small baby, Rian, right? Now, chalo, Rahul was grown up. I mean, he could keep himself busy with books and, he's always been a very, very positive person. But माँ की ममता तो like how did you tell yourself you have to stay away from your little child at a time when you actually wanted to be with him or he wanted to be with you? So what how did you deal with that? Because many times as parents be like we just can't handle that. So how did you manage? I mean, what did you go through at that time?
I went through a lot of mental turmoil. I went through agony. I think the one main reason that made me go on and on without giving myself another option, another choice, was clearly reality. I remember when after the mycelium crisis, that movie thing that you're saying, when Rahul said कि अच्छा 6 कहानियाँ लिखी हैं 4 और ले अगले साल उसको आइस है क्या बोलो मैं लॉन्च करेंगे मैं बकवास है क्या and next year dramatically I mean इतना ड्रामा कितना और कैसे हो सकता है लाइफ में कि अगले साल I was back in the ICU with something called type 2 lung failure. मतलब डॉक्टर ने बोला 72 hours 78 hours जो भी होता है उसमें शायद आर पार टाइप वाला सीन हो गया था जो मुझे नहीं मालूम है बाद में पता लगा. एंड डॉक्टर से कि इसके यहाँ पे ट्रिकेस्ट नहीं करना पड़ेगा एंड शी विल हैव टू हैव दैट some instrument here जिसकी वजह से she can breathe for the rest of her life. I'm debating, but I have to tell this because this is something I try and share with many people. That the power of the mind, the subconscious mind, or thoughts. ये तो भैया मुझे इतनी बात पढ़ के सिखाया मैंने अपनी लाइफ से. Good ways and bad ways also. So I remember एक तो Rahul ने कहा कि we'll launch it next year in Apollo. And next year when I was there with the type 2 lung failure and the doctor said try to नहीं करना है. So Rahul ने बोला can we wait for 4 days? इसका birthday है, can we do it after that? So I'm not aware of this. Uस time में my mind was fuzzy because I was hyperventilating. I did not have any oxygen in my system. I had loads of carbon dioxide, so I was hallucinating. I was falling. I have cuts here. I have stitches on my knees. 5 एक में 3 एक में at the age of 46, and major injuries and stuff. And he asked for 4 days. My neurologist also said 4 दिन दे दो, 3-4 दिन दे दो. And my neurologist said हाँ ठीक है आप कभी भी करो आज नहीं तो कल करना तो पड़ेगा. And despite our Rahul और मेरा एक वो था कि Riyan should never come to the hospital and see me with those tubes and trials and whatever, but he got Riyan that day. And मुझे कुछ vaguely याद है I saw Riyan and like ये क्यों आया? Then I realized it was a birthday. And in those 4 days, Rahul converted those 6 books into a book, published it, and we launched it in the same ICU on the same bed where I wrote the first story, Kamla Kodna. Can you get more dramatic? When I saw Riyan and when I got to know that the doctor said you try to see karna hai and you will be there for the rest of your life, I think that is when I decided कि I can't let my son see me like that for the rest of my life. My mother, my brother, Rahul, सब पगला जाएंगे. I'll be a disabled person for the rest of my life. I decided ये नहीं पाएगा. but I couldn't tell it to anyone because I was under sedation. When I came back home from that stint in the hospital, after 10-15 days, I was cribbing about Rahul, लाइट पता नहीं चल रहा यार, परेशान हो क्यों? So now I said, count your blessings. 10 दिन पहले that tricked me होना था, you were not supposed to be here. And imagine you're cribbing about the aqua guard. And that is when Lokesh, I realized, I said, when was it that this happened? He said, I asked the doctor for 4 days after your search, after your birthday. Second day after that, you made a dramatic turnaround. The pulmonologist and neurologist were shocked. Dr. Rajesh said, whatever has happened, I do not know. But jo bhi hua hai, she doesn't need that tracheostomy. And I realized it was a day when I had overheard the doctor about this procedure, and I decided in my head, I will not let this happen. The power of the mind. जब मैं ये बात लोगों को बताती हूँ, मेरे को आज भी इस concept में.
So last time Rahul said his inspiration is जिसकी बीवी ऐसी fighter हो, you are his inspiration. That's what he said. So who is your inspiration, Rian? I mean, everybody wants to know that who is inspiring you, who is your idol? That you keep going through these situations and you are sitting here, well and good, inspiring all of us.
एक जन तो नहीं है, अलग-अलग लोग हैं, अलग-अलग चीजें हैं. अमिताभ बच्चन है, पता नहीं क्या कनेक्ट है मेरा उनके साथ, उन्हें नहीं पता. बस मगर मेरी दिल्ली तमन्ना है कि जिंदगी में एक बार उनसे मिलूं और बोलूं कि हम दोनों का जो कनेक्ट है ना, जो फर्स्ट टाइम में हॉस्पिटल गई, he was in the hospital and I was in the general ward at that time. Okay, and मैं कॉमन टीवी पे उनका देख रही थी न्यूज़ में, and I said अगर ये हॉस्पिटल से निकलेंगे तो मैं हॉस्पिटल से, प्लीज आप हॉस्पिटल से निकलो. वो निकले और मैं निकली. So my senior grammars he has. See how he has 101 types of medical complications that he comes up. My inspiration, knowing the unknownly, is Rahul. The day I told him, Rahul, घबराना नहीं, देखो एक बात बता रही हूँ, डॉक्टर ने कहा है ये थाइमोमा है, it is a type of cancer. मैंने सोचा कि मैं उसको ना प्यार से समझा के भूमिका मान के बता रही हूँ. And his reaction was, अच्छा, okay. Next क्या करना है? And I was like, हाँ, actually next क्या है? जो डॉक्टर बोलेगा वही तो करना है. So, not to ponder too much about what happened, why it happened, take action, move ahead. My inspiration has been Rian. उसके लिए.
Is he there right now? Has he logged in?
Yes, yeah.
He's here. So Rian, hi, can we all have you here? So let me just quickly share with you about this 14 going 21. Hi Rihan. Hi Rihan. So he's 14 going 21. And let me share with you a few things. I mean, before he speaks. So he was a guy, at a very young age. So right now he's 14. At a very young age, he raised crowdfunding to go to Man U for a football camp. Barcelona, sorry, my apology. FC Barcelona, right? Yeah, he went there by raising crowdfunding through social media because Rahul refused to give him money. Not because he did not have money, because he wanted him to explore himself. He went for an internship at MasterCard, if I remember right.
Yeah.
At a very young age, they said, इतने छोटे बच्चों को हम नहीं लेते. He said, एक बार मतलब बात तो करो मुझसे. And he actually did 2 weeks summer internship, if I remember correctly. My first interaction with him was when he presented me a concept called Kidopreneur, and why don't we launch Kidopreneur across schools and colleges. He actually did a PowerPoint presentation in Nagpur about a year and a half, 2 back. So, and right now he's running his own online store. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So anything you want to share, you have two parents who have always been like, it's okay, what next? ये तो होते रहता है types, as if it doesn't matter. So anything you want to share as being their, the star of their eyes, the inspiration, everything.
They didn't tell me anything like this, so I never.
So they never praised you in private.
No.
Okay, great. So these were my words, okay, on their behalf. So you want to share something, besides studying, you're also he went for almost what, a month and a half when you did that Padayatra, election yatra. With
Yeah.
that, you went out for a while, in Rajasthan somewhere,
Yeah.
with that, where he was actually doing election campaign. He actually experienced what happens in election campaign with Rahul in Rajasthan. So anything you want to share? I mean, it's been very, very inspiring, both parents and you also doing some great work. So
I can share my current startup.
see, he is a true entrepreneur, doesn't want to miss the opportunity and want 48 of us to know what is he doing right now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, there are hyped shoes, sneakers, which sell for example, Nike sells a sneaker called Air Max 90, and they do a collab with another brand called Stussy. So the quantity of the supply of the shoe is very limited, and sneakerheads like me, all of us want a pair for ourselves. So they quickly sell out on the online website. In stores, everywhere is sold out. And the people who have bought it, they can sell it for a higher price. So they flip the price and sell it for a higher value or the resale value. So I can give an example of Supreme. Supreme, for example, if they sold, so recently they sold a brick for $40, and the resale value of the brick, Supreme brick, which is a brick with Supreme on it, the resale value was $1,000, from $40 to $1,000. And another example would be Oreo and Supreme. So Supreme did a collab with Oreo, and there are only 3 pieces of Oreo, and the only difference is that it's red and it has the Supreme logo on it. And they sell for around $56,000. And the market value is $3.
So you basically trade all these on your website. So great. I'm sure one day we're going to have a session with you as well. And I'm sure it'll be very, very inspiring. Thanks so much, Rian. So Pallavi, though you have covered most of the questions, sharing your journey, still there are a few. So I'll read out, some of them who posted their questions. So one question is from, so there are a lot of questions. I'll just pick a few of them. What has been one of the most happiest moments of your life, despite everything that you've gone through? Ah, I thought as much. So Rian was born. If
Yeah.
you were to relive a part of your life, which part of life that will be?
Okay, now keeping COVID in mind and everything and life learning experiences, I think I would like to go back to that simpler life that we used to lead when we were young. जो अब हम थोड़ा सा वापस से रिलीव कर रहे हैं घर में बैठ के, बट जो दौड़ भाग वाली जिंदगी नहीं थी, जो अच्छा घर का पौष्टिक आहार, फैमिली लाइफ, दौड़ भाग बहुत ज्यादा हुई. So I think I would like to relive my school days and my college days. काम करना शुरू करने से पहले ये obsession और ये
The race.
the race, yeah.
During COVID times, most of us, subconsciously, we all have some fear in our mind. Whether we say it or not, definitely we all have some fear about COVID. And fear is one of the most powerful emotion which can take you or throw you back somewhere, right? How to overcome such, this fear, emotion called fear in times like these? Is there a recipe for this?
No.
Okay.
Everyone has to deal with fear. Everyone deals with fear in his or her own way. There are people who like to keep themselves so busy that they don't have time to give any scope for fear while emotion coming in. There are people who would like to, I don't know. But what has worked for me, not maybe during COVID, because ये तो अभी ऊपर नीचे चल रहा है, then get scared, another day you're fine. But as far as my personal life journey is concerned, I realized that fear I have reduced to quite an extent the day I surrendered myself. The day I said, बस अति हो गई, अब मैं और इसके बारे में सोच नहीं सकती, मेरे सोचने की क्षमता खत्म. And I moved to, I don't know what power, the power within us, that ID, that God, supreme power, the universal power, I don't know what. I literally, went on the bed with my head down and I said, I give up. I'm thinking, I surrender. I will go with the flow. That is when that fear, जो मेरा बहुत ज़्यादा था, that kind of reduced.
Right. Last two questions and then we'll let you go because I know it's a long session. One question from Teja Dalvi is, do you think a health element proves to be a good teacher in life? And one must be grateful to it. If yes, why? If not, why not?
Is health a good teacher?
Good teacher in life in terms of, how do you overcome a challenge or whichever way.
Yeah, absolutely. But my advice is don't wait for something as drastic and as stupid like a medical issue come to teach you something.
Right. सीखना ही है तो और भी बहुत सारे तरीके हैं. Why health element?
Please, अपना सेहत का ख्याल रखो, खुश रहो, मस्त रहो, अपने प्लेट पे सामान कम डालो. Don't put too many things on the plate.
Right. There's another question from Anna. How to motivate myself when I am being sick of being sick?
I'm being sick.
Of being sick.
Or do what I do.
And what's that? What you shared with us?
Put your red lipstick,
Ah.
do up your hair, get ready and sit. If you look good, I feel much better. Much, much better. अगर आप अपने पिजामे में बैठे रहोगे और अपने शॉर्ट्स में बैठे रहोगे और गंदे लगोगे तो आप गंदा फील करोगे. So on days when I have felt horrible about myself, about my health, about my future, I have donned that red lipstick, gotten ready, some powder, and red lipstick, not brown, not bronze, because of dark colors.
It has to be red.
It has to be something bright, orange.
Last question, and probably looking for some relationship advice. So Rakhi Shop is asking how to unlock the relationships that have turned bitter.
ये तो आसान है.
Somebody asking you on Radio Mirchi, I think.
ये तो आसान है.
चलो जवाब दो.
ये आसान है. ये मेरे लिए बहुत आसान है. इसके लिए सिर्फ एक solution है. Pick up the phone or talk to that person आमने सामने. There is no other solution. You want to clear the relationship, you need to talk. Talk. Speak. Clear the matter. Take out that mug, throw it into the dustbin. चाहे उसके बाद you do not talk to that person forever, or you become the best of friends, or you have a cordial relationship, but finish that issue. Never ever let anything, what का हुआ है, आधी बात रही, फिर मैं पिलो कॉन्वर्सेशन करती हूँ अपनी जिंदगी के बाद. उसने ये कहा था तो मैं उस टाइम भी ये कह सकती थी. मैंने ऐसा क्यों नहीं कहा, उसने ऐसा क्यों किया. फोन उठाओ, बात करो, बात खत्म.
So one last thing, Pallavi, people want to know any book that inspires. Do you also read books? And if yes, any book that inspires you or you suggest, like Rahul, always suggesting books.
मेरे पास एक पूरी शेल्फ है of all the self-help books. मैंने पढ़ी हैं. मैंने Heal Your Mind, क्या Heal Your Body, Heal Your. I once said Louis Hay की किताब पढ़ी. मैंने The Secret पढ़ी during my bad times. Power of Now पढ़ा. And then as I said, ना कि वो एक किताब वो पूरा एक शेल्फ एक तरफ है, राहुल एक तरफ है. So he does what is there written. And I'm not, frankly, not a great voracious reader. I read sometimes, but not too much. Do I read much? Not much.
Great. So I think there are no more questions. Mostly the questions were around what inspires you, what motivates you, what made you pull through this. I think you answered most of it. And, each one of us here, we are really grateful that you took time. I know every time you have to narrate this story, you have to relive your past, and it's not easy at all narrating it. I'm sure you go through a lot of pain, but, this is how, you have taken up to inspire people कि चलो मुझे हुआ तो हुआ, लेकिन अगर इससे औरों को फायदा होता है तो क्यों नहीं? And we are indeed, all of us, extremely grateful to you for the session. Thank you so much, Rian. I think your entire family. I mean, sometimes you are absolutely right. जो माने भगवान कुछ सोच के ही करता है, तो मतलब आपको इतनी बीमारियां दी तो साथ में राहुल और रियान भी दे दिया. आपको फिल्में बहुत पसंद है. बॉलीवुड इज सो क्लोज टू हार्ट, सो आपको पूरी लाइफ ही फिल्मी बना दी.
मैं तो बोल रही हूँ
I guess it all adds up, and it's so wonderful to see all three of you, and I'm sure many of us here who have been worried about so many small things, COVID, and I remember we were speaking about few days back, and you said हम लोग अभी भी कितना क्रिप कर रहे हैं कि यार मेरे को ये रेगुलर ये चीज नहीं मिल रहा है, ये खाना नहीं मिल रहा है, लिकर नहीं मिल रहा है. लुक एट पीपल आउट देयर. आई मीन so I think it's time that we all are very, very grateful to where we are right now, compared to millions out there who don't know whether they'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. Time to make life a little simpler, little easy, and not just be in the rat race. So thank you all so much. Please stay back, Pallavi. I'm just going to take a picture for all of us. So all of you, if you can on your camera and your smile too, because बाद में मत कहना कि मेरी picture अच्छी नहीं आई. Yeah, Rian, come on, Rian, you also. Yeah, so a big smile. Yes. So one more. Wait. So please smile. Otherwise, at least my close friends will say, "Oh, picture अच्छी नहीं आई." Some cameras are still off. So okay. So here we go. Thank you so much. Before we sign off, we are planning to do an event in Tedx sometime in June, July, which we are still and it's going to be virtual, because I think social events, meeting at one place, looks like next 6 months definitely no 2020 is gone. So probably we'll write to you on email and you can share with us. So we are looking at whether to do every weekend 1 hour with 3 speakers, or do it every day in the night from 9 to 10 or whatever. So we'll write to you, and if you liked, so we'll have your feedback, and then accordingly we'll plan it. June, July is when we are looking at. We'll have about 10 to 15 speakers on various subjects, and we'll ensure that we all get enough to get going. Doesn't matter COVID or no COVID. If you liked what you heard today, please visit our page on Facebook, Tedx Chowringhee. Please share your feedback. You can, if you liked what Pallavi shared, you can show your reaction now by writing on the chat box, or just giving a thumbs up or claps. There's a button called reaction for those who are not aware of it. So absolutely, so this is amazing. So I'll send you the chat there with some amazing feedback. Everybody is very, very grateful to you, Pallavi. So thank you so much.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah, Pallavi. Yeah, please don't forget to read ICU Love Stories. I'm sure it's going to be very, very interesting, very inspiring.
sadly, I could only put up the Kindle version. जब तक कि hard copies आई तब तक lockdown हो गया. So I have got copies with me at home.
Right.
So hopefully we have on Amazon.
They're surely going to read this, and thank you once again. Thank you all for supporting all of us for conducting these webinars. We'll come back to you. What next? Stay safe, stay indoors, keep smiling. Because आप देखो पल्लवी को देख के भी आपने after going through all this, whenever I have met her, she is always smiling. Smile करोगे ना तो मैं बता रहा हूँ कोरोना तो बिल्कुल पास में नहीं आएगा. ठीक है? So God bless you. Have a nice evening. Thank you so much. Pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you, Pallavi.
Bye.
Thank you, Pallavi.
Thank
You are
you.
amazing.
Thank you,
Love
Pallavi.
you.
Really nice.
Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you a lot.
Thanks a lot.
everyone.
Bye,
You're a very
everyone.
good inspiration for all of us. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you so much.
Great inspirations.
Thank you, everyone.
Madam.
Yes. वही है, हम लोग तो क्या है कि डेली ब्लेसिंग्स करते हैं.
Bye.
So see you soon in Delhi, Pallavi.
तो हीलिंग भी करते हैं ना. या ब्लेसिंग.
Bye bye everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye, Rian.
पोटेंट एनर्जी होता है.
कुछ नहीं बोला, बोल तो रहा है, सुना चुपचाप, या तो काट दिया या कट गया, हमको पता नहीं.
हाँ.
कुछ नहीं बोल सकता. अभी और उसको बोल के मैं एक बार उसको फोन करके बोल दिया कि
This is the best part of
बोल रहा हूँ. जैसे रिकॉर्डर कैंसिल और कुछ चेंज है.
Here a lot of conversation unknowing.
ये भी फालतू से कैसे
Cross connections.
अच्छा. अगर ताकि लोग अच्छा वैसे.
फिर उसके बाद या काट दिया।
कल हो तबीयत ठीक है आपकी?
हाँ
पता नहीं, I don't know, फिर हम दोबारा मतलब छोड़ो अभी।